Welcome. We shook it up a little bit this time. And Kurt, you want to turn my mic down just a little bit. It's a little hot. Anyway, we want to shake it up. We brought you here to our hometown here in Provo, Utah. Historically, we've been up in Park City. We've seen lots of snow up there. I think every summit we've done up there has had snow. We won't get snow here in Provo. I'm pretty sure of that. But welcome. Provo's a really nice little town. It's fun. Hopefully everybody's accommodations have been okay. We had a nice event last night and a lot of fun to get to know some of you, and I'm glad that you can all be here. Again, welcome to the garage. This is my little home away from home that I'm letting ObservePoint use today. So if you have any questions, come up and ask me. But I built this about 8 years ago just as a fun project. So and at that time, my ex-wife didn't like me at home as much, so I built this place. All right. So let's get started. I wanted to just tell you a little bit of my history. A lot of you don't know, but the kind of the why and what we're doing here at ObservePoint. So, I need the slides. We're just getting going. You might also not know that I'm also president of the AV Club here at ObservePoint. And I know if any of you know me, I'm super nerdy, so I love it. We have Kurt and Zane back there, though, helping us too. They're IT at ObservePoint, also vice presidents of the AV Club. So, but I moved here in Provo in 1995, and I had just finished serving a mission for my church. I was living in São Paulo, Brazil, and then moved here. And I'd heard about this thing called the internet when I moved back. And I'd seen some people using the internet in Brazil in 94, but I think here it was starting to really pick up, but down there it was just kind of hearsay almost. But I got here and I joined the Internet Club. How many of you have been a member of the Internet Club? I know, another nerdy thing. But yes, I worked my way up to vice president of the Internet Club, which was really more like a Unix users group at the time. My email address at BYU was john@byu.edu as a student. So that can kind of show you how early it was for most people. And while I was there, oh, look at that. That's me with some hair. I just started making websites for people. And everybody at the time kind of heard about the internet. People were starting to think about, oh, maybe I should put a marketing brochure online, right? And this is the time of the most famous position, the webmaster, right? Is anybody here ever a webmaster? Yes, I love it. Thank you, fellow nerds with me. So we were webmasters, and I started building all these websites. I've built actually some fairly famous websites. If anybody heard Ancestry.com, I actually helped build the first version of that website for them. Built Zion's Bank's website, a really funny little amusement park here, which actually turned into a good amusement park, Lagoon, Lighthouse salad dressings, like all these little websites I was building for people back in the day. And while I was building these websites, people started to ask me what was going on the websites. So then I started tracking visitor behavior on websites. That's the first version of Omniture that you're seeing there. It was called Superstats at the time. Actually, I liked that little lightning man logo. And our slogan was, because people count. It was even an animated GIF, and the little lightning would go across when we do that. That was extra special, And all those, all the charts there are actually tables manipulated to look like charts and everything. There was no charting engine at all. Thank you, Internet Archive. That is me and Josh James. Does anybody here know Josh? He's the CEO and founder of Domo now, but him and I started the company together. And we became a company called MyComputer.com, and Superstats was our main product prior to then becoming Omniture, which is what we eventually sold to Adobe. So over this 13 years, I've been building, just doing all kinds of things for huge companies from a website standpoint. When we first started Superstats, it was definitely for small businesses. We actually went from 0 to 2 million customers in Superstats in 2 years. Kind of the first true like SaaS PLG company. Did you know we only had 3 customer support reps for 2 million customers? And actually, it was all self-service, so it worked just fine. But from there, I was trying to figure out what to do. I had all this experience with working with huge websites. And I was talking to a friend of mine, Rob Ciolis, and we were talking about all the problems that these websites have, just keeping track of things. Because remember how I talked about the webmaster, you webmasters out there? Back then, and the webmaster knew everything about the website, right? Because it was really simple. But now the website is turned into a beast, right? So like at Omniture, if a customer called and said something was broken, literally 99% of the time, they actually had something wrong with their website, right? They had implemented the code wrong. They forgot a whole section of their website. Whatever it was, very, very rarely was it something that we would do. I just remember I'd get a phone call from like one of our big customers, like, you're broken, you need to check everything. And I'm like looking at the system, I'm like, well, I just saw 1 million page views come through the system last minute. So chances are our systems are running. What's wrong with you? And every time we dig in, I didn't realize my developers did a push out of South Korea at 3:00 in the morning that wiped out everything, And so we have this concept of that, we're going to try and really validate these things for people. We're going to try and help people with the technology, keep track of what's going on their website, take all that complexity that they had and try and simplify it. And the hard thing is it's still even hard. Even with an ObservePoint tool, it can be very complicated, but it's impossible without a tool like ObservePoint. So that was kind of the driving factor on us trying to come up with, how do you take those hundreds of websites, thousands of websites? I mean, I remember some implementations at Omniture where we were literally doing 100,000 websites for some customers we're implementing across. So how do you can't keep track of that all by hand. You have to have some kind of tool that is indexing that, building a database of what's going on. So ObservePoint brings insights, automation, and compliance to the complexity of your digital customer experience. We even now talk about it more as a web customer experience. And that's what's driven us. But I always like to say it, we tell you what the heck is going on your website. And believe it or not, I actually tried to type hell here, but because I was in Provo, it auto-corrected to heck. So I had to go with that on this slide. And that's the simplicity of it. That's our vision. And I want to help you guys understand like where we're going, like what we're doing. When you look at our web governance solution, it really is broken down into 3 main core areas. That's the technology governance. So, all the tags, all that information that's on their website, is it actually in the right place and functioning? The privacy compliance, are you following rules, regulations? Did you set a cookie when you shouldn't? All those kind of things. And then experience validation. So is our site loading properly? All those type of things. Those are our kind of main core areas. But we really do have a grander vision. And that grander vision kind of encompasses everything. So if you think about it, my goal in life, and this is probably most people's goal in life, is to understand every single aspect of a website. Like super nerdy. I want to know every image, every link, every redirect, every single thing. ObservePoint wants to track every single one of the things and provide extensive reporting on anything you could want. So if you notice, a lot of things up here that I've listed, we don't currently do, but are things that we're really working on and that we want to eventually have all of these type of things. So even from the standpoint up there, like you can even see one that says like diversity. Like I want you to be able to question ObservePoint and say, hey, what are all the pronouns all the way across our website? What's the diversity of all the imagery across our website? All these type of things that from our scanning engine, as it gets more and more powerful, it will understand all of those things. But again, our core are these things right now. And what's really cool is because it's all based off of a core platform, as we add these different features and do things, it's not like we're building totally different products. It's one core product that just has all these types of results. Good way to think about that is like Microsoft Excel. You can build like a cash flow statement, an income statement, and all these things in Microsoft Excel, but Microsoft Excel, you don't think of it as like an income statement system. It's a very powerful platform that allows you to do a lot of things. And same thing with ObservePoint. You might use ObservePoint to check Adobe Analytics right now, and it's really good at that. But the same platform, if we build it correctly, should be able to tell you, did our new marketing tagline get put across the entire website? So that's the vision. That's where we're going. Our core mission is to really listen to you as customers, be focused on what are, when you think back to this list, what are those next things? And what can we also be improving in our core areas? It's not always the next thing. I mean, right now we're very focused on a lot of privacy reports this quarter that we're working on. Rob is going to do an awesome session later on roadmap that Rob's right here. Raise your head, Rob, our head of product. He'll be leading a roadmap session tomorrow where you'll hear about a lot of the fun things that are coming out. I think, because it's just so critical to embrace this new world. Like, I came up with ObservePoint back, it's been like 16 years, believe it or not. I was actually still at Omnisure when I came up with the idea, and then I gave it to my friend Rob, who then ran with it. It's like, I thought everybody understood how their website worked back then. I was so deep into everything. Again, super nerd, right? And then I started to realize, oh my gosh, nobody actually knows how their websites work. I actually think most people think their website's like installing Photoshop, like they stick the CD in and it like just installs and it's all done. But we all know the web is a living, breathing organism. You have teams all over the world that are touching that website, that are making changes. Like, if you really want to understand it, you need to be scanning like at least all your critical content multiple times a day to make sure something goes wrong. Like, if you have a campaign landing page that has the wrong code or the wrong attributions on it, are you really okay if that's broken for 3 days? Right? So all those type of things are which continue to drive us to create a better experience for ultimately the end user. Because that's what it's about for you guys, is making sure those end customers, those end users are having a really great experience on your website. And we want to help do that and make sure that continues to go. The other thing that's become different, because the company's so big, so many websites and so many teams are really starting to care. Like, before all the privacy compliance, how many of your legal teams really paid that much attention, except for, do you just have like a user agreement on your website? Now they're all calling you saying, I need to know every cookie that's on the website right now, and you're like, hold on. Okay, I'll get that for you. And then, of course, you open your browser and you just start clicking every single page, and 64 years later, and you give them that report that you put into a Google sheet, right? I think that's how it's supposed to be done. So hopefully we make that a little easier when, and I mean, I've heard that from many customers where they're just so grateful, like, oh my gosh, the legal team asked me for this. And then thanks to like some of the new cookie reporting that we have, it makes it way easier. This is most of the team at ObservePoint. We also have a lot of people who don't live here in Utah, so that are missing off this slide. But we're here to help you. One thing, I think a lot of my business philosophy falls into kind of our thought processes at ObservePoint. And one of my core business tendencies is that everything's personal. There's no such thing as just business. So I really want everybody to care about our customers. Take everything to heart, making sure that we are doing everything we can to help people. And if we can't, we want to be, in some ways, even feel bad. And like, how do we fix this? And how do we make it better? Always. Even being here at this event, obviously is an incredible opportunity for each of us at ObservePoint to be able to talk with you guys and help you guys. We have a lot of experts here. So please take advantage of everybody who's here and get to know the people at ObservePoint. But even probably more important is you also have, even though I realize these are pictures of people at ObservePoint, because I have pictures of you when I made this slide, but really you want to get to know everybody else who's here. You can build lifelong friendships. Like I know many of you over the years through even Omniture, but build relationships here so that you guys can call other friends and say, hey, how are you solving this problem? Because you guys are in the real world, right? We kind of live a little bit in our bubble here at ObservePoint. But if you can get to know these more people, you can collaborate and engage and share experiences with them to better yourself and help your company. We're excited about the journey ahead. I'm really excited that you guys are here. It's actually really fun to have it in this space. When I built this, I actually call it the man cave, but I put the garage on the door because I felt that was a little more politically correct. So I could have put the diva den or something else there, but the garage. But it's fun to have you guys here because I never necessarily thought I'd have an external event here. And let's enjoy the conference. Again, I'm available for anybody who wants to talk one-on-one even. Happy to meet. Otherwise, we have some really great content, some great speakers that are going to be coming up here. So with that, I am going to turn the time over to my good friend and head of revenue, J.D. Jepson.
Thank you, John. And on behalf of all of us, thanks for letting us use your garage. You redefined that term, garage. Can I add my heartfelt appreciation to what John expressed and just thank you. In the whirlwind of business today, we don't take lightly the fact that you would carve out a couple of days and come join us. So we really, really appreciate it.